It's very
chilled.
delicate, Hudson.
That was very delicate.
You kind of need to swish it around a
Yeah,
little
you need to get some. You need to get maximum.
Get some movement.
Just pull my finger in and go.
Yeah,
like,
like grab it by the tea bag and just like move
Pick it up
around
and
see?
kind of dab. Beautiful.
There you go.
It's like I need to learn from the guy from Avatar, the uncle.
Uncle Iroh.
Uncle Iroh. Possibly one of the best characters in any TV show ever.
If someone can think of something to prove me wrong,
Yeah.
I'll go with it. But incredible.
Oh, he's so good.
Welcome to Chip Lunch, everybody. It's very exciting to have you here. You may notice that we've got a few things a little different here today. If you're watching on YouTube, which if you're listening, I would recommend to just give it a glance, because we have a gorgeous vehicle behind us. This is my dad's Kombi, which he loves very much. We have had our planning day.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
We just taught Hudson how to have an iced tea with what is it? It's
strawberry, raspberry, and loganberry.
There you go. I don't know what a loganberry is, but
thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Logan. A Wolverine berry. So we've heard Hudson's voice now. Hudson, welcome to you. Were the other thing that's different about this episode of Chip Lunch. Welcome.
Thank you.
It is
What's
very
your
exciting.
name, by the way? What's your name, by the way?
Oh yeah, sorry. My name's Ethan, and that's Braden.
We always forget to introduce ourselves. So.
Name there.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. Yes. So Hudson, you are a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Yep.
You were saying you've listened to all of them except
The most recent one, which is Tim's, I believe.
The most recent, like the one that dropped today, or the other Tim's one?
I definitely haven't checked today, so probably the one from last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was
Which
it
was
Bev?
No, I've watched Bev's one.
So you're pretty up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bev's was last week.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I just haven't seen Tim's one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He skipped Tim's one.
Tim's is a couple before that.
Now we say skipped Tim's one. We were talking about how to get views on the YouTube of this episode, and the way to do that is to get Tim to share it.
Yeah.
So you can't get in Tim. You got to go listen to Tim's, because you might be in his bad books and you might not share it. So.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Anyway, so we want to kick off Chip Lunch with our usual question of how do you have your chips, Hudson?
Definitely chicken salt.
Yes.
But it's got
One of us.
But for some reason, every single chip shop, the consistency is just not there. It's either
of the chip or the chicken salt.
The chicken salt. It's like, do you want extra? Do you want normal? Normal, too less. Extra, too much. It's like there's no sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of upsetting.
Would you invest in your own packet and like do it yourself?
That means I would have to have it on hand, because I rarely have chips at home.
There is like stuff like a little sriracha bottle you can put on your keys. So I feel like if we want to make merch, we can get a little chicken salt.
the chip lunch chicken salt portable.
Yeah, just
for
it's
any
like a
occasion.
keychain.
And the strat is when you have too little chicken salt, you chuck it on. But when you have too much, you use your too much as a little refill.
Yeah, exactly. You fill it up and use it on the next one.
I think we're onto something here.
Reuse, rechoose, recycle here at Chip Lunch. Yeah. It's very to get us off this whatever this merch topic has become. Hudson, the other thing we like to do whenever someone new comes on the podcast is we like to ask them how they became a Christian. And so we thought we'd ask you, Hudson, how did you become a Christian?
That's a great question. Well, I grew up in a Christian household with my brother that was on here, episode 9.
Because the numbers.
I was like, all right, I'm going to be double digits. No, I'll go 11. And I think I'm 12 on it.
I think you're 12. Yeah.
Okay, 12 is fine. 12 is a good number. It's even.
12 is a good number.
So I'll take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up in a Christian household. Always had Jesus, God in the picture. I was thinking of this on the way here. I don't think that I have like a moment like Daniel had. I think it's like a gradual thing. So I think I'd like to say I would have like a moment. It was probably when I was younger. that I honestly do not know, but I do have some highlights that.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm
What
keen on highlights.
one that is probably my favorite one is actually I have two of my favorites. Me, my brother, and his brother Eli. He's Ethan. Eli.
Yeah.
Every year we go on a camp 2 days before Christmas, and it's a really, really fun time, and it's time we get to spend with each other. And it was last year, so 2020, and that was the year where COVID was a massive problem, and it was kind of like the I would say kind of the sweet spot, but it was like the December. I don't know when December was kind of the sweet spot for.
Yeah,
it was
kind
somewhat
of kind of chilled,
somewhat
but it
not.
hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were actually not confirmed to go at this point. So it was a massive cliffhanger because Eli'd come over to my house to chill before he had to leave to go, and like it ended up we didn't leave that day. So we left a day into the thing, so everyone had met up, which was unlucky for our team because they had to do a bunch of challenges, which was like carrying boxes and stuff with 4 people when everyone had like 11. So it was amazing, and they were super amazing people. But anyway, and we had great leaders, and they because it was kind of the sweet spot, but then it kind of wasn't, and it like changed so suddenly. And these leaders had come pretty far for this camp, and they showed how much commitment they had to the camp and how much they like believed in it, and how they believed that that they needed to be there, and that was the best way for them to like share their faith and help others kind of do that in a amazing environment. And if I want to go into detail, like how much they gave up, we had 3 leaders, I think. One were brother and sister, I believe. I have no clue. It doesn't really matter, but so I think they came from Canberra.
Yeah.
And this was a time where they were closing down borders. So I think the what's it called? The person who runs it,
Premier?
No, the person who runs the camp.
The director or whatever.
The director, yes, that's what they call it. He's like, you have 24 hours. If you want to go now. Otherwise, you have to stay.
Wow.
So he chose to stay, which was, all our leaders chose to stay, because I think we had, like, all our leaders were affected by the border shut. And then they told us that, like, this meant so much to them that they would love to spend time with us and do that. And they were giving up, like, Christmas with family.
Wow.
I don't think, and also one of the people didn't actually have a home to go back to.
Wow.
So
that's intense.
He was like, I'm going to focus on now, the present, it's amazing to see that and to also have that story.
That's really cool. And that's, that was a crew camp. Is that right? There's a really cool organisation in Australia that are called the Crusaders, and one of the things they do is they run these beautiful, really cool Christian camps that are really fun and really exciting and have lots of crazy stuff that happens. But they do that all centered around the Bible, and their leaders are Christians, and that's really cool, man. That what do you think was it about that sacrifice that made you really go, wow, this is cool from a Christian perspective?
Well, I was like, my first thought was like, where does that come from? At the moment in time, I did not understand, like, where do they draw that strength, I guess, to go, hold on, I'm gonna pause for a second, stay here, stay in the moment, and keep on doing what I'm doing, and trust in Jesus so much that one of them didn't know what was going to happen after, but was still like their mood changed a bit, but like I mean they you can tell they like on the camp they have no sleep.
Yeah, okay.
The sleep is 0, and that they were pumped and excited throughout the whole thing, which was amazing to see.
That's really cool. We were talking about being in youth group on the last episode. Brain, we did a few camps back in the day. Do you have any particular examples of what things that might have impacted you on a camp?
I think we used to have a youth camp called Revive back in the day, back when Soul Revival was still a youth group. And that used to always just be a super encouraging time of year. I remember like the same kind of things where leaders, especially a few of my leaders, it was always during exam time for uni, especially for a few of them. So I remember having a few leaders that were staying up to like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to do assignments after the kids like gone to bed. We weren't asleep, like they were just rushing through. I have memories of like leaders doing that. And it's just like, I think like Week Away, which is another camp that we do now as a church when we're older, like it's just a great time to get to know people better and just like be immersed in something. I think that's so enjoyable and so great. It's like a family atmosphere where you're eating, you're sleeping, like you're doing everything together, you're running around, you're having fun, and also you're learning together. I think it's always been a big highlight. I used to love Revive Camp. It was a highlight to every year. Eats, do you have the same kind of thing or?
Oh, something similar. YouthWorks, another Christian organisation, runs a camp called Leaders in Training or LIT, and I went on 3 of those, which was really fun and really, really cool to be. I've shared a lot on this podcast about how I didn't have heaps of Christians my age around me growing up, and suddenly finding myself at this camp with all these Christians that were my age and were stoked to try and be Christian leaders was really cool. That was a really, really fun experience. And a lot of what I gained out of that experience was that community. And like kind of similar to what you were saying, Hudson, seeing other Christians give up stuff is such a beautiful testimony to their faith. And I'm always in awe, even of just my youth leaders. Like the amount of stuff that they gave up to love me and my mates was awesome. It was so cool.
So like Eth, you had you've spoken about your experience, and you spoke about it a little bit and brought it up just then about going to a public school and not maybe knowing many Christians, not having maybe many Christians around you in that environment. Hudson, you also go to a public school.
I do.
Just wondering, how is it?
What year are you in?
Yeah, what year are you in?
Year 10.
Ooh.
Epic. Sorry, I was just
no more
interrupting.
school certificate though.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that sweet spot before you have to really try and fun.
Well, you haven't done year 11 and 12 yet. So.
No, I have not.
So there's no real trying yet.
No.
Yeah. So how's school, Hudson? How do you find school? How about before I ask you how is it being a Christian in school? Do you like school?
It's not bad. Like I sometimes in the holidays, I actually get so bored that I'm hoping for school.
Maybe a better question is, what's your favorite part of school?
For some reason at the moment, English.
See, I didn't mean subject. Oh, I meant part of school. Like it can be lunch. It could be
lunch and recess are so boring right now.
Really? Why are they so boring?
I don't know. It just feels like I'm just there, just waiting for the bell to go until I go to class.
Just do the next bit of your day.
Yeah, just gotta wait for this to happen, and then I can actually do something.
There you go.
Wow,
what are you doing? Like, are you not doing anything?
I mean, Clash Royale grinding is a big part.
Okay, fair.
So I have pushed many trophies at lunch and recess.
Favorite thing about lunchtime?
Favorite thing about lunch?
About lunch?
About school.
No,
favorite thing about school.
Favorite thing about school.
Probably just having something to do. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I get recently I've been sleeping.
Yeah.
At like 6 p.m. and then
wow,
waking up at 8 p.m. and then and then going back to sleep at like 12 or 1.
Whack. Is that because of COVID stuff? Just being like, well, I'm at home all the time and everything's out of whack, and
for some reason I have no energy, even though I'm not doing anything. Right? Like it just gets to that point where I'm just like, if I don't have something to do during that point, I'm sleeping, and it's the worst sleep ever.
Yeah. If it's not if it's not a scheduled sleep, it's not a sleep.
Because usually I'm waking up and then I've got my brother coming into my room yelling, "Dinner's ready."
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Daniel yelling is quite a sight to behold.
Oh, it is.
Okay. So I've been wanting to talk about this on the podcast for a little while, and I'd love to know what you guys think about this. But as Christians, we are called to rest. And Braden and I had a really long conversation last night about the Sabbath. So we have a little bit of pre-preparation. That's not necessarily what I want to go into right now. But what do you think when you are tired in whether it be school life, whether it be work life, whether it be in ministry, whether it be in leadership, what do you think is the next step there? Like, you're just like, you're drained, you're tired. What do you do as a Christian, as a person,
I think trying to keep the same routine that you've been doing, because that's the hardest thing is keeping the routine. Because once you've got the routine, then keeping it is like the next step. Because once you're out of the routine, what's even harder is getting back into that routine.
And then you're napping at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think keeping what you're doing, but also maybe modifying it a bit to have breaks, because it also might be more harmful not to have breaks, because you might not be able to do, like, say if someone's asked you a question and you're too tired, you're not going to give the best answer. And also that also comes along with, you might be grumpy and might not be showing love to everyone.
Yeah. What about you, Braden? What do you reckon?
I think I can echo Hudson's thoughts, especially on I'm online at the moment for college, just like Hudson's online for school. And I think it's so easy. It's kind of a weird thing, because you've been on the computer all day, like looking at a screen, maybe not doing much. And once you can finally log off, you're so drained that you sometimes, like, I find if I don't go for a walk at lunch, or at least do something to see the sun at lunch, I just finish at 4 or 5 o'clock and I'm just cooked. And so, like, it's kind of an interesting thing, being online all day, and then you finally can do whatever you want, and all you want to do is
sleep.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I think, Heath, where you're talking about finding rest, I think it's such an interesting concept right now, especially like we're kind of stuck at home, but we're not resting. No. Like, it's kind of like you'd think, I don't have to commute to work, or I don't have to go to commute to school, and I think, but I don't think many people are I'm not finding it more restful, which is super interesting. What do you think about rest, Heath?
I think I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
I wish I could randomly nap at different points in my day, but I cannot. And that's partially because my life is very filled, because something I am not very good at doing is saying no to things. Yeah. And I think something I was chatting about with my grandpa, actually, is he was talking about how one of the hardest word, his little line that he says is, the hardest word for a Christian to say is no. And because I think we often fall into that trap of, like, someone asks you to do something and you're just like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And being able to do that is really important. Because if we're coming back to the stuff you were talking about at the very start, Hudson, the idea that as Christians, we're called to be sacrificial.
Yeah.
We're called to sacrifice our time and our money and our stuff. And so sometimes we can do that to the nth degree. Yeah. And in my case, not all of the stuff I have filled my time with is sacrificial. A lot of the stuff is just work or is other stuff. But I find myself sacrificing my rest instead of my other stuff.
Yeah.
And I think something I've got to work on doing is learning what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Knowing that sacrifice is really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is something that as a Christian I'm called to do for my whole life. Like Romans talks about being a living sacrifice through all of our life, which is really epic and really difficult to kind of figure out that balance. Like again, like you said.
Getting back to our special guest.
Yeah.
Hudson, how is it?
Thank you for going with me on that tangent.
I think we're going to come back to rest. It's such an interesting thing to look at. And I think I'd love to do a whole podcast on it. We could talk so much about it. But anyway, while we have Hudson here,
yes, let's use it.
You have a special view, a fun view, because you're currently, as you said, you're a Christian and you're in high school. You're in year 10. How have you found being a Christian in high school, like from your perspective?
Hard in probably not the way that everyone, when they say that it's hard.
Yeah?
Because it's kind of like I'm a spy at school. I've got two identities.
Okay.
I think it was especially hard for me going from a primary school with all my mates to going to a high school where I knew one person and that amazing person was my brother.
Okay.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So back in primary school, I think most people knew I was a Christian. So I'm a very big introvert, so I'm not going to go tell people.
Okay.
Like I love keeping to myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hardest part. But I think it took me 4 years, but I think roughly people know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. That's awesome.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But high school is such a challenging time for Christians, especially. I actually haven't. I can't say this because I haven't been to a private school, but public school can be very difficult.
Do you want to expand on that? What do you
know this?
What are your examples? We're both public school kids, so
the view. Well, I mean, the view on Christians is not generally. It's generally okay. It's not the best. Like arguments can start pretty easily over that stuff, and like example in year. What was this year? I think it was year 9, maybe year 8. Some girl was arguing with this guy about some biblical thing, and I just stood there.
Yeah,
like I froze up, especially because this guy was very scary. He's a very big footy player.
Yep, the size of the man often makes it difficult.
Do you feel like you froze up because of is the reason was just because he's a scary dude, or did you not feel equipped to say something, or was it just the situation?
I think probably equipped and the situation.
Yeah.
I don't think it mattered. It could have been the smallest kid in my grade.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was because I just wanted to bring up the fact that he was really big. And you talked about with Daniel on the podcast about people asking him questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have too many questions that people have asked me. Actually, I do have a few, but they're mainly from friends of mine. Which there's some I'll get two type of questions. One will be trying to attack me or trying to catch me out.
Yeah.
Which is they're probably one of the hardest to answer because it's like, do I go straight for the quick insult? do I try and answer it? Because even if you answer it, they're gonna not gonna believe you. And the famous line, "Oh, I heard this from someone."
Oh,
it's like, "Oh, someone told me this."
Or I was watching a YouTube video. And Yep.
But I've had some great chats with people. When I say people, my friendship group.
Yeah.
So I've recently joined a new friendship group outside of school.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been friends from old school has invited me into their group from their school.
Epic.
And it's really good because they knew I was Christian, so it was kind of like a they're already known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have to explain it. And they're lovely. They understand that. And
That's cool.
they ask me questions. Some more annoying than others.
Yes.
Which
Fair
is
enough. And often they are, right? Like,
Yeah.
but you said there was two types of questions. The first one was trying to call you out. What was the other one?
like a general good question, like
Sure, okay.
curiosity.
Yeah. And do you find that both of them, both the catch you out and the curiosity ones, do they both come from the friends who are more nice, or is it only the nice ones come from the nice people and the call you out ones come from the everyone else?
I think it's a bit of a mix, but definitely the nice come from nice people.
Yeah.
But my best friend definitely goes on the side of trying to catch me out.
Sure.
But he's amazing, so
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But he has also asked for like very deep, good questions.
That's cool.
So it's good that it's not just a trying to catch me out question.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's really encouraging.
So you come to youth group here at Soul Revival, and you've also had some mates come along. Did you invited those boys, didn't you? Your mates?
That is actually a very good story.
Oh, well.
Fire away.
I think I invited them term 1. They came once or
Of
twice.
this year, or?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
Maybe it was last year. It was some time frame.
Yeah.
But from the first, they came for a week.
Yep.
This was 3 of them.
Yeah.
Then big space.
Yep.
Then one of my friend's brother, which is Ethan's friend,
Yes.
I've been told he just said, he bought him a computer and said, you have to go to youth now.
I did not know this. What? I knew about the him forcing his brother to youth. That I knew about.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about the bribery.
He didn't pay for all of it,
Right.
but it was like a
Chipped in.
slide him a computer, you go now.
Excellent.
And they love it.
Awesome.
I think also they love it because this is a time that they can spend time with me
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super
in
cool.
like an amazing environment and
Yeah.
familiar. Well, I mean, I think they're familiar with it because of you, because
Okay.
you do
True.
you do the thing at school.
I do the thing at school. I do scripture and I do the lunchtime group at school. So I see them and they heckle me and it's great fun. No, we have I say hi in the playground and yeah, so I'm a familiar face. So that's a positive that could help. But I think it's really like Braden, you have shared a lot on the podcast about, maybe it's just we've talked about it.
Yeah.
How one of the things your mates did as a friendship group was, well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to youth on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of that familiarity and because of, like Hudson was saying, it's because it's another way to hang out with one another.
Yeah, exactly. We just found it, I think, the main positive for us, especially when we were your age, Hudson, year 9, year 10 and stuff, it was just a good excuse to hang out on a Friday night.
Fully, right?
So I think we had lots of people who were non-Christians, but in our extended friend group. It was just what our friend group did. Like if, well, of course I'm going to go, even if I'm not interested in anything about religion. This is where my friends are hanging out on a Friday night, so I'm going to come and hang out with them. And I think they also, over time, it was cool. They became better friends with the leaders, and all of a sudden it's like, well, we're going to hang out with the leaders as well because they're our friends. So I think that was it's a super fun time, especially just hanging out with your mates on a Friday night and doing some crazy stuff. It's always a good time. Yeah.
I thought I'd take this small moment to say I'm really encouraged by you, bro. Because even in the span of this conversation, it's gone from someone asked me a question and I freeze up to like inviting your mates to youth. Like that is a really big difference in your life, and it's really cool to see how Jesus has worked in your life over the years. Is there anything that when it came to because it took my friend to buy him a laptop, buy him a computer for him to come to youth, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you had been asking him beforehand. Is there anything you would say to people to encourage them to invite their mates?
Well, I prayed for him from year 8.
Mm.
So that's 3 years.
Yeah.
I also told him that I was praying for him, not to think I was amazing or anything, just so he knew that I was thinking of him, and that this meant so much to me that I want him to know that, which I think it helped, and he loved that, even if he's not Christian or didn't like the idea of prayer or whatever.
That's really cool. It's really positive that his reaction to that was not, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, thank you. Like, because you're also just saying you're thinking of someone. That's really beautiful and encouraging. I have a really random moment from, I was invited to a party with a group of people I didn't know.
Yeah.
And at that party, someone shared something pretty heavy about what they were going through. And they just shared that around the table. And I was kind of feeling like, oh, I'm a little bit odd one out kind of situation here. And as that person was leaving, this was a group of non-Christians. And as that person was leaving, I just was like, hey, I know I don't know you. And I know you're not a Christian, but I'm going to be praying for you because of the stuff you shared tonight. And they, instead of that, oh, that's weird, they responded with, oh, thank you so much. Like, that's really cool. And it's just really interesting that this thing that is as odd almost as praying is something that people go, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
To, you know what I mean? Like it's not, have you ever had that kind of reaction?
I can't think of it actually. Yeah. I think it's such a cool encouragement to hear, Hudson, about, because I remember you praying for that mate for years, that whenever we talk about like maybe praying for a friend or friends that you'd like to come to youth, it's really cool to see, to see that long-term prayer and support pay off and them coming to youth and having fun. I think it's super encouraging.
And the power of prayer is amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Because you get to go and look back and go, oh, I prayed for him and that prayer was answered.
Yeah.
And now he's a youth. And so now I can keep praying for him for God to work in his heart. Like, and maybe he'll become a Christian one day. And that'd be really cool.
It would be amazing. And also, I strategize a lot because I knew that I've got three type of friends: a follower, a semi alpha male, and then the alpha male.
Okay. Yep.
The alpha male is the one that I invited because I knew it's just a chain. It's boom, it's a chain. Boom, boom.
This is it.
So here we go. Identify your friend group.
The follower went for so
categories.
Friendship. Alpha male got invited.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first night, I think it was only the follower as well. Mm-hmm. So the semi alpha male had work, I believe.
Okay.
And then he had his grandma coming over. So he couldn't come. So then we joked that night that we were going to kidnap him and chuck him in a van and bring him to church. So I think we actually settled for him getting in a car.
Okay.
And coming.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
So I guess that's a deal. I would have much preferred the kidnapping, but whatever works. Whatever works.
So get the alpha and the followers will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some youth mission strategy for you.
It also helped that I was probably the closest to him at the time.
Yeah.
So I had that. We were very comfortable with sharing that stuff.
Yeah. And you could be like, bro, come hang out.
Absolutely.
And he's like, okay. And like, it wasn't a, hey, you're the alpha. I want you to come and bring everyone. It was just, I want to be a friend. Come.
Oh,
he just happens to be.
That I did that for that reason.
Don't listen to the podcast.
This is actually a really cool night to be interviewing Hudson.
Yes.
Is there something special happening tonight, Eth?
Yes. Hudson is in year 10.
Yeah.
And something we do at Soul Revival Church is we finish youth at the end of year 10, at the end of term 3, year 10.
Yeah.
And graduate these guys into late night, which is our senior high and upwards, young adults.
Anyone really.
That is very true.
Our Saturday night community.
Senior high and upwards.
Yeah. Young at heart.
Young at heart, indeed. Community. And it's really exciting to be able to invite you and the other year 10s up to that now, because this is your last night of youth.
Yeah.
It is. before I lead.
Yes, well that's yeah. We just get him. He'll just come back the week after, and he'll be the leader. But whatever. Yes. What? Any particular reason to bring that up, Brandon?
I just thought any. Sorry to put you on the spot, Hudson, but I guess our whole podcast is that. But anyway, any particular memories from youth or cool stories, or even just I don't know. What do you enjoy about youth group? What's your favorite youth night? As simple as that, or any cool, encouraging?
I'll be listening. I still need to grab something.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite nights.
Yeah.
Because of what happened, and it was very unexpected. So that's why I love it, and I didn't think it was going to happen. So it was only those two mates. So it would have been like the week 2 of term 3, I think.
Yep.
Because this was the ecclesia that we did.
Ah, yeah. So.
And.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what that is?
What an ecclesia is? So, well, it was just like so for one of our youth terms recently, we decided, as we had come out of a year of COVID stuff and just generally stuff getting cancelled due to weather and stuff, we decided to have a whole term of all the youth nights that we hadn't been able to do for the last year. So the first one we did, because we hadn't been able to sing at church for a little while, was we did a band night. And that's ecclesia is just a different name for when we have a big dance party, a great time, live music, and singing some church songs. So that was the start of last term, I think.
Yeah, and so the alpha male and the follower.
We can just say 2 of your mates.
Yes, 2 of my mates. They went, and I was pretty worried for this night.
Yeah,
because it is quite a weird. Well, it's
like
not really weird for me.
Yeah.
Because I've grown up doing this, but I mean, if I'm trying to feel what it might feel like for them, it would be like me going to a concert, because we're for basically just a bunch of strangers singing, dancing, jumping around. Yeah,
and like until you turn 18, there's not many contexts. Well, unless you're like going to the Wiggles and you're 4 years old, there's not many contexts where you do get to sing and dance and jump around at that age, and especially like a Christian context if you've never been to that before, I'm sure. Is that what was worrying you, that you just thought they might just think, oh, this is a bit weird, I'm not going to get involved?
And they wouldn't join in was probably the most. But they loved it. They
loved it, yeah.
We did the Macarena
up
the front for majority of the night, it was good to see that they joined in. Yeah,
and that's what was encouraging, that they got excited about it? Yeah, that's super cool. Any other youth things that you can remember or be encouraged by? Because you guys, it's pretty cool. You guys have been, so what is it, like you're in year 10, you've been here since year 7. This is like 4 years of youth, and your last night?
Yes. I remember the first night of coming to youth, which was year 6, me being in year 6, term 4.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
Oh, what didn't you like?
I explained I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there's older kids. No.
Yeah.
But I think that I had so many leaders that I knew that they kind of were like, made me join in.
Yeah.
In like it was a amazing way, and they were looking out for me, made sure I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And now I'm one of the oldest people in the group.
Yeah. And
that's what I love about our church, the community, how that so I also am a leader for Fuse, which is our younger group for 4 and 6.
Yeah, year 4 and year 6, so primary school age kids.
Yep. And how I don't think I can't think of any way that I would usually talk to that age group.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's not generally, unless you have like siblings that age, it's not generally. You just don't generally talk to people from different years, do you?
No. And what's cool about that is I've noticed since I've run Fuse.
Yeah.
Now at church, I walk around church saying hi to like every little kid that walks past.
Yeah. Knowing them from Fuse, or just generally that's opened you up to being friends with younger?
Both.
Yeah, that's super cool. And it's cool that like you were nervous about the older kids at the start of youth, and then now that getting connected through the people that you did know, and then leading at Fuse, that's connected you to a whole bunch of people who are older than you, and also a whole bunch of people at church who are younger than you. That's pretty cool.
Are we talking about intergenerational ministry?
Maybe.
Amazing.
I don't know.
Wow. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. And when I say technical difficulties, I've lost my bag, which is needed for something else that's happening tonight. But that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it's really cool that you. One of the things that I'm really encouraged by, Hudson, is that you were one of the ones I led at Fuse, and so I was like, this is really cool that I have this dude who's younger that I can like you. The thing you were just describing, you were for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. That's all I had to add to that.
It's really cool and encouraging to hear about that, Hudson, and it's definitely as like someone who is a leader while you were a youth kid and now watching you lead kids younger than you. I think it's just super encouraging. Like, what's your favorite part about Fuse or leading at Fuse? Like, what do you enjoy most?
It's a break from school. It's like I never thought I would go like, because I think I worked it out. It's like school finishes at like 3:05.
Yeah.
I hop on train,
Yeah.
go to the factory,
Yeah.
and I spend 5 hours at church, just on the Friday.
Solid.
Yeah.
So it's basically my home. I think I might actually have to make
Set up a room.
Yeah, set up a room, call it my own. Get like a little plaque on the top of the door.
Get the gaming set up and the LED strips.
I won't have to leave.
Fully.
Yeah. So like Ethan and I, we've led youth, we've been at youth, but something that you've obviously experienced and we've experienced as leaders, but not as a youth group, is youth online. And you did it a bit last year and you've done it this year. Like, positive or negative, obviously, you can be as mean as you want. You won't hurt our feelings. But like, how have you found?
You might hurt mine.
Like, how have you found youth group online? You don't have to say positive things.
No, you don't.
But yeah, like it's obviously very different. It's obviously
of course.
harder. Like, how have you found connecting online in that way?
It's different. I think I've talked to you about this, saying that because we were talking about this was like just before we'd probably term 2, so the third term we were like, it's just, like we've done all these amazing things online, but it still doesn't beat just a night where we're sitting and chilling and being all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I don't think there's a better substitute for it, for what we've had. And I think it, especially for like everything that's going on, it's amazing just to have this, just to have as much as what we had before. Which, it's amazing.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, it's really awesome that we can have it, but it's no substitute. I think we should probably just about wrap up now. But you wrote a Bible verse on your hand, because you were trying to remember it. Do you want to do it so it's not written to no avail? What Bible verse did you write?
Romans 8 verse 18.
Yeah.
So it's if I can read my handwriting, the pain you've been feeling.
Sorry, it's funny because it's handwriting. Sorry.
That's right. The pain you've been feeling can't be compared to the joy that's coming.
Very epic.
Which is amazing for the time that's that we're in right now, especially due to COVID. That seems like a lot of pain. So I just forgot what the word was. So I have that on my wardrobe. I need to actually rub that out and then write it again, because I chose purple. And it's like some faded. It's like mauve. Mauve. So it's like it's so faded that it needs to stick out. I need to do a beautiful illustration.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
That's super cool to share that.
Beautifully poignant ending too.
Yeah, I know.
That's really lovely. I think that's really cool. I'm really encouraged by you, man. Like, massively. Thanks heaps for coming along. Awesome to be joined by you, Braden. Thank you both of you for holding the fort while I ran away. I'm sure no one noticed my absence. But without further ado, I think we better wrap up the chips. Discord, jump on that.
So if you want to keep chatting with us, jump on the Discord link. We'd love to see your thoughts, or maybe you can start a hashtag. We want Greaves, or I think we've seen some traction there.
Yeah,
chuck that. If you want to chuck any questions or anything in the comments, that'd be sick too. If you've really enjoyed this chip lunch, check out. We've got we said we've got 11 other ones. Don't we? Got 11 other ones. We've also got another podcast called The Shock Absorber. If you're interested in there's a whole bunch of stuff, but lately the season 3 they've been going through looking at youth ministry and super in depth, super awesome. Using our children's obviously with our senior minister Stu, our children's minister Tim this season has been helping out, and Joel's our digital pastor obviously. And
I threw in I threw in the words intergenerational ministry. If you want to know what that's about, listen to this season because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks so much, Hudson. Massively encouraging.
Very encouraging.
Do we want to wrap it up like we always wrap it up?
I think we do. With a one way.
One way.
One way.